Imagine this scenario. Your human resources manager based in the United States has asked you to prepare a salary benchmarking report to evaluate how your company's finance director role compares with similar positions at other organizations. The goal is to determine whether the finance director's salary is competitive in the market. During a one-on-one meeting, your manager asks when you expect to complete the report. You explain that you'll be able to finalize the report once the vendor conducting the market study provides the necessary data. In other words, you want to communicate that for B to happen, A must happen first. In human resources, it's common to rely on information, approvals, or decisions from others before moving forward. When one task cannot continue until something else happens first, we call that a dependency. Communicating dependencies effectively helps build trust with your leader because it manages expectations and highlights potential risks. That's why today I'll share 3 phrases that will help you sound professional and confident in English when communicating a dependency. My name is Junel Ramirez and I teach advanced English to human resources professionals based on more than 10 years of experience working with global teams in international companies. The first phrase is dependent on. Let's listen to the following dialogue. I used AI-generated voices so that you can hear North American English pronunciation.
Will the salary report for the Director of Finance be ready soon?
Our target is to finalize the report by Friday, assuming we receive the market data from our compensation survey provider on time. The timing is dependent on that input, and I'm meeting with them today to confirm the expected delivery date.
Understood. Once we have that data, we can complete the comparability analysis and determine whether the salary is competitive.
Let's analyze 2 useful language tools from the sample response to your director. First, it uses one of my favorite expressions for communicating an estimated timeline. Our target is to. Our target is to is an effective expression because it communicates a timeline without sounding rigid or overly committed. It is flexible, which is valuable in complex projects where some variables are outside your control. Remember, after the expression our target is to, use an action verb in its base form. For example, 1. Our target is to finalize the report by Friday. 2. Our target is to complete the analysis this week. And 3. Our target is to share the final compensation recommendation with leadership next week. Memorize the expression using this simple formula. Our target is to plus action verb plus deadline. Second, let's look at our first expression for communicating a dependency. Dependent on.
The timing is dependent on that input, and I'm meeting with them today to confirm the expected delivery date.
B is dependent on A means that B can only happen after A happens first. You can use the following formula. The business item plus is dependent on plus what needs to happen first. For example, 1. The next step is dependent on leadership's review of the salary report. 2. The recommendation is dependent on the results of the comparability analysis. And 3. The adjustment is dependent on final leadership approval. Our second phrase for communicating dependencies is contingent on. 1. The final timeline is contingent on receiving the market data from our compensation survey provider. 2. Our ability to complete the comparability analysis is contingent on the provider sending the finalized salary benchmarks. 3. Any salary adjustment recommendation will be contingent on confirming how the director of finance role compares with similar roles in the market. If you use this expression, remember that it should be followed by 1. A verb ending in ing, or 2. A noun. Example with a verb ending in ing. The project is contingent on receiving funding. Example with a noun. The launch is contingent on customer approval. Our third phrase for communicating dependencies is "this cannot move forward until." Here is how it works in our scenario. The salary recommendation cannot move forward until we receive the final market data from our compensation survey provider. The formula is business item plus cannot move forward until plus what needs to happen first. As you can see, this phrase clearly communicates that the process cannot continue until an approval is received, a review is completed, or another required action takes place. It also includes the expression move forward, which means to continue to the next step in a process. Now that you know these three phrases for communicating dependencies professionally, I have a question for you. Which one feels easiest for you to pronounce? Very often, that's the phrase you should prioritize in your daily communication while you continue practicing the others. Please repeat after me. Dependent on, contingent on, this cannot move forward. Well done! Confidence in English is not built by learning thousands of words. It grows by mastering communication patterns like the ones you practiced today, one meaning at a time. Before we continue, there is one word from our scenario that I recommend adding to your vocabulary: comparability. In HR, comparability is the principle that pay rates and salary increases should be aligned with what employees earn in similar roles, companies, or industries. In other words, employees should be paid in a way that is reasonably aligned with what people earn for similar work in other organizations. It is commonly used in compensation discussions because it helps organizations attract and retain talent. Here is an example of how the term is used in a business context.
To ensure comparability, we need to evaluate the roles using the same criteria, including job scope, level of responsibility, industry, and location.
Now you know 3 professional ways to communicate a dependency in English. But remember, dependencies are temporary. They must be resolved before a project can move forward. Once they are resolved, they are no longer dependencies. Eventually, you'll need to present the results of the project you've been working on. When that happens, there is a simple communication framework that can help you sound professional, articulate, and insightful when discussing results. I explain it in the next video.